Hello YouTubers, welcome back to another Tesla electric car video with me, Adam Uninformed. I want your input on this. I'm left with a dilemma that I feel Tesla owners don't truly anticipate before acquiring their Tesla, and I'm pretty sure a vast majority of owners do face this very dilemma. Some will admit it and some maybe not. Ever since I collected my Tesla Model 3 on my delivery day, I felt immediate gratification that acquiring my first electric car was the right thing to do. From first impressions, it was everything that I wanted it to be and more. This is part of the problem.
Say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Stick with me here. I also won't be afraid to admit some pre-collection jitters on the cost front. I kept checking the numbers to see if the cost of ownership and the charging predictions were correct. Back in 2020, you could sign up for a home electric EV tariff and have the ability to fully charge a Tesla Model 3 SR Plus for just over £2.50 to £3 for like 250 miles. In comparison to your conventional petrol or diesel car, that's the cost of like 2 to 2.5 litres of fuel in the good old days. This equation definitely felt too good to be true at the time. However, the reality of the matter was that only time would tell if these figures were indeed achievable, and thankfully I've learned over my time of ownership that these figures were indeed correct. You can even revisit an earlier video of mine on the screen now if you're interested in some transparency on that very subject. The dilemma that I face is, when do you sell your Tesla, but more specifically, what do you then buy after owning a Tesla Model 3? Now, I did a video around a month ago and I did kind of glance over this subject in that very video, but I didn't fully expand on the issues of future choices. Now, hot off the press, Elon Musk has made some Twitter remarks on how the prices of Teslas could come down if inflation gives way. So what does this mean, and are there solid choices beyond owning a Tesla? And I mean that in the most non-nerdy and fanboy way possible. This is why I said no Tesla owner truly anticipates this dilemma at first, because like most normal people, we tend to focus on the initial car purchase and not the vehicle that you desire after that very purchase. Like, you wouldn't commit to marrying your partner with a plan to then marry again in 4 to 5 years time, and if you do, you're probably just built a bit different. Moving back on topic, just so you fully understand the predicament that I face, this vehicle is everything that I wanted in a car and more. In my eyes, it truly met the hype of being a vehicle from the future, full of tech, and it costs very, very little to run. I know I spend more on feeding my cat than charging my car over the course of the month. Yes, you did hear that right. So whilst that may sound like some sort of sick joke, this is the alternative reality of owning and operating a Tesla or an electric car for that matter. Like, when and why would you give up that opportunity? By that I mean within reason and outside of changes to personal finances, etc. So all things being equal, what would make you want to sell your Tesla Model 3 for that matter? Is there another vehicle in the market that would make me trade it in instantly, and why? I think it's a serious question and there are no right answers, only opinions here, but hopefully something we can discuss in the comment section below, especially if you know what I'm going through. So before I lay out my thoughts, don't forget to hit the like button to show me some of your virtual love and support for Tesla and EV content, hit the subscribe button to follow my Tesla EV journey with me, and finally hit the notification bell to be notified of all my upcoming electric car videos as soon as they're available. To lay a thicker foundation and to give you more context on my initial thoughts on the matter, when I did my video last month, I spoke about how I was getting a trading price of more than what I acquired the vehicle for in December 2020. Out of curiosity, I actually ran the same quote the other day, and to my surprise, I actually got pretty much the same figure as I did in the video last month. In that very video, I talked about how I could upgrade to the same Model 3, and it could come with the various upgrades such as the LFP pack, the LFP pack being the more practical and hardware and battery pack if you didn't know what that was. And then I floated the idea of the next vehicle being the Tesla Model Y, and it seems like a natural transition from the Model 3. The kids would naturally be getting older and practicality and utility do start to become more important. That said though, does that actually justify such an increase in price though? Outside the Tesla offering, why did they not consider other alternatives more seriously? That is very much the dilemma that I think myself and other Tesla owners do face. I think even before I became an owner, there was very little choice in the market if you wanted a good all-round practical EV. The ones on sale were either high-end or served a particular purpose. The Nissan Leaf and Renault Zoe, for example, small hatchbacks and great city cars. Is it possible to travel long distances in them? Yes, entirely possible, but is it the most practical EV solutions for long distances? No, it's not. There are other EVs now that charge faster and have longer ranges and offer more comfort, etc. That's okay because these vehicles weren't designed for the 1% of journeys being long distance. It focuses purely on the 99% of vehicle journeys being the small city-based commuting. The vehicle's range and fundamentals were more than sufficient to meet those needs, and they simply are great cars when working within its primary working conditions. The Model 3, on the other hand, was an EV that cost slightly more, but on the face of it, it had more range and it made long distance driving more suitable thanks to its charging speeds and the supercharger network. A solid all-rounder, and I'll detail the other significant factors later. But what's essential to understand is, even today in 2022, where are the strong and solid EV alternatives to the Tesla Model 3? Okay, we have the Polestar 2, and I did like that car when I tried it for a month. If I had moved from my Seat Leon to the Polestar 2, I'd still be almost as happy as I am now with my Tesla Model 3. But from the very position of having a Tesla and looking elsewhere, I just wouldn't consider a Polestar 2. If you're moving from an ICE car to a Polestar 2, it's absolutely a logical move and credible, subject to your personal preferences. But moving from a Tesla to a Polestar 2 doesn't really offer me any significant gain on what I already own. It's not a downgrade, to make that clear, but the fundamentals from technology to charging to drivability, I felt much more at home with the Tesla Model 3. And to be completely honest, there probably is some favoritism in that opinion as a Tesla owner, but my opinion nonetheless, it's a prime example of not finding another EV that excels that of owning a Tesla. So what could beat owning a Tesla Model 3? Well, that is the whole dilemma, isn't it? If you want a EV in 2022, there are some great EVs in the market, and they do offer a real EV alternative to ICE car equivalents these days, like the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Ford Mach-E, to name a couple. After owning an EV, I reckon 90% of people will not replace that EV with an ICE vehicle. I very much back that statement myself, and I don't see any reason to replace my Tesla with an ICE vehicle. Like, what do they stand to gain from that decision? Engine noise, maybe? I've totally lost ICE appetite and I have no idea what is appealing about an ICE these days. Like, I know purchase price is a factor, but if we discount the price from the equation, why do people buy ICE cars in 2022? Like, what makes it so appealing? That lack of appetite and understanding for what makes ICE special in 2022 means that I can limit my next car to be another EV. But trying to look beyond Tesla, what fundamentals will be decisive to switch to a different brand? And at this very point, I'm now starting to see the predicament that I'm starting to face. Sure, having an EV with more range would be great. That said, I've been happy with circa 260 miles in WLTP rated terms. Any increase would only benefit the handful of journeys that I do per year. Like, I'm happy to see an increase in the max vehicle range, but the increase is not a central factor to me. If that increase in the range of the car stems from having a bigger battery, there's a good bet that the efficiency of the vehicle won't be as good. So if I operated the same mileage within the 260 mile limit over the course of a month, it will cost me more in charging costs because the car isn't as efficient as the Tesla. Effectively utilizing more energy to cover the same mileage, primarily down to carrying extra batteries for the sake of missing out on a charge stop or two over the course of a year. And if I start doing more long range mileage, that bigger range maybe then be more beneficial. But on the other hand, sacrificing some efficiency for total range might be more expensive month to month. But even if it is 10 to 20% more expensive, we're talking about a monthly increase of £2 to £4 just on home charging rates, so it's hardly breaking the bank. Another pull factor that is directly related is charging speeds. There is a correlation between having a bigger battery and achieving quicker charging speeds. Even with the Model 3 lineup, the Model 3 SR Plus variants and the Model 3 LFP pack both charge at slightly lower rates than the Model 3 long range and the Model 3 performance variants. In a nutshell, faster charging speeds on a smaller pack can lead to overheating issues and subsequently reliability issues, and this is why the entry-level variant is limited by Tesla to a slower rate of around 170 kilowatts in comparison to the full 250 for the long range and performance variants. So to make matters more complicated, it's not just about your quickest speed, it's also about the charging speed retention. And I know there are rivals that can charge up to 350 kilowatts of speed now, but apart from finding a charger that supports that speed, how long can the car sustain that level of speed? Over a rapid charging session, it's natural to see a charging curve drop in speed as the battery pack begins to fill. So finding an electric car that can recharge quickly is attractive, but it's more important not to follow the headline charging rate, and much more important to follow or compare the 10 to 80% charging speed, as this will be more representable to your rapid charging demands. The third and final fundamental that I'd say is a significant pull factor is technology and driving convenience features, and that stems from interior interface to autopilots and cruise control systems. I know there are many other factors like interior space and maybe the boot capacity and acceleration that would contribute to the overall decision. I personally find that from first impressions, technology and driving convenience features do catch your eyes quicker than those other factors that I've just mentioned. I find autopilot and auto steer in particular a very pleasurable experience. Once you've had that experience, I can't see myself not using it on the motorway for future instances. Like, I found it really helps with concentration and fatigue levels during those long distance stints, and driving without it on the motorway is still entirely possible, but if I have the opportunity to reach my destination in a much more energized state, like, it's a no-brainer to me. I know other brands are releasing their alternatives to Tesla's autopilot, which is really great to see some competition and other consumers can benefit from such developments. However, are they as effective as the autopilot system today? I've seen some on YouTube just really struggle to handle simple curves in a highway state, whereas in the UK, handling motorway curves is super consistent. And I know some Tesla owners now say, but what about the phantom braking? And that can be difficult at times. But speaking from my own experiences, I've been grateful that it's not really something that I've had to experience over the past year or so. I still do give the system the full attention it desires, just in case it does throw that curveball at me. But the system is super consistent for me, and enough so that I can't see myself not using it for future motorway trips. This and the software offering from the car, such as Sentry Mode and having Spotify, etc., these are features that enhance the car ownership experience, and knowing that an over-the-air update can be done at home to enhance that experience even further is just music to one's ears. And hopefully after hearing all of this, you're really starting to understand the issue that I think I do face. And if you don't, well, I'm going to spell it out for you now. The Tesla Model 3 has set such a high bar for me. It's hard to look around and say, that's the car that I want to replace my Tesla Model 3 with. Am I right? So to conclude, do I have any other choices, and what are they? Well, there are some awesome EVs in the market, like I said before, like the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6 and even the Ford Mach-E. But where they may excel in one area, I think that they do lack in another area for me. For example, the Hyundai can charge pretty quickly and at 350 kilowatts, but the technology and driving convenience features are behind what I currently have. And to reiterate, this won't be an issue to 99% of car buyers, but in my circumstance, if you are a Tesla owner, do you just overlook that and hope that they speed up on their over-the-air updates, which I believe is going to be restricted to just 2 updates in 2022. How long is it going to take for them to get to sort of Tesla-like standards today? This is a dilemma that I think that I have. I might gain something with one hand and then I lose it on another hand with something else. And owning the Tesla first time round has somewhat spoilt me so much that it's actually hard to find alternatives that are generally better on all fronts. And that's why I feel so many Tesla owners do end up upgrading to a new Tesla, whether that is remaining with the Model 3 or even jumping a vehicle class to the Model Y or even the S and X, depending on your location. So whilst I don't regret my Tesla purchase, it has somewhat made it difficult to appreciate the other brands. The good thing for 99% of consumers is acquiring an EV in 2022 is likely to be an upgrade in ownership experience thanks to today's solid offering and across the mark. But for me, it kind of sucks because there is no better alternatives within the same price range, and I don't hesitate at remaining within the Tesla family, but competition is good and healthy for both the automaker and consumers alike. Across the pond, I do quite like what Rivian is starting to show. Like, I'm not into pickups, it's not really a UK thing, but the R1S could be an interesting SUV. That said, they still aren't available in the UK, and what's its price point going to be when it actually finally gets here? They seem to be the closest automaker to offering a Tesla-like experience through technology and mobile integration. Then again, it's still one step or two step behind on certain elements as well, so it's pretty much the same issue and dilemma that I do face. So what do you guys think? To those Tesla owners, do you share the same struggles? What car do you see yourself upgrading to next? And to you non-Tesla owners, I just overthinking this whole situation? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you're not sure what to comment and you just want to show me you got this far in the video, you could simply comment "feed the cat" and charge the Tesla, and I'm pretty sure that's going to raise some curiosity amongst some viewers of the video, and I'll give you a cheeky thumbs up for putting that comment down below. If you're not done so already, hit that like button, subscribe, share the video with your friends and family, or any other groups that may find this video beneficial, and as always, you folks have been great, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.